Hello and welcome to the channel. Incredibly excited to speak to you all today about a board that I feel makes the best holiday present this year. But before I share all those details and explain why, I want to remind all of my subscribers and even people new to the channel that I am currently working on a PEV related documentary entitled Electric Pioneers, and we're doing some small crowdfunding via Indiegogo. And whatever you could donate will be helpful. Just eat one less hamburger this year and make a donation to your boy to support the Stoke and support the movement. Now let's just get right into the review. Christmas is around the corner and a lot of people are saying, hey, what will make a great present this year? And I think the Backfire era really has a possibility to make a very good board or present for individuals. So some may say, hey, isn't this board kind of a step backwards for Backfire? When you talk about the range, and then we're going with the hub motor board because as of late, Backfire has made some really great boards. The Backfire Zealot, Backfire Hammer Sledge. However, I think that this board shines in a variety of different areas, and that's what we're going to kind of discuss here. And in the video, you'll see my son doing a lot of riding because Backfire sent it out for him to check it out and review it. And then of course, I also rode it as well. So let's just talk about some of the main specs, and then we'll kind of get into why I think this board is a great value and why I think that this board can make a great present. So first things first, when you look at it, you're not going to see an enclosure hanging underneath. And that's because all of the battery and the ESC is encapsulated within the deck. And this has some benefits, and to some it may have some negatives. Some of the benefits are that it's sleek. It doesn't necessarily look like an electric board, and it probably helps with some of the waterproofing and things like that as well. Now, maybe a con may be the deck is a little bit on the stiffer side, but it has to be because everything is inside the deck. However, Backfire tries to mitigate that some with the foam grip tape, which I think looks amazing on the board, and I think the overall design of the deck looks good, especially when you compare it to the very first Backfire era board, as this is the era 2. When you look at it, you're also going to notice that it is a hub-driven system.
This is it belt drive or hub motors?
Hub motors.
Yep, hub motors.
Lucky guess.
And this, of course, hub drive has its benefits and has its disadvantages. Some of the advantages of hub motor systems are that they're quiet and they're a little bit less maintenance, because with belt drive, you have to change out belts, rocks and things like that, and debris can get into the system. But with this one, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Backfire advertises two 650 watt hub motor system with a climbing capacity of around 25% and a top speed of 26 miles per hour. Now, that's not going to knock anybody's socks off, but I think that these are great specs when you talk about what I think is a primary function for this particular board. Now, as it relates to the top speed, my son is flying on it easily. Now, heavier riders like myself, you probably got to shave off about 2 miles per hour as the top speed because of our weight. But I think anybody 200 pounds and below, you'll be hitting this top speed easily with no problem. When you talk about the battery setup, Backfire advertises a 5 amp hour battery with 180 watt hours, and they estimate anywhere from 12 to 15 miles range. Now, we know there are so many factors that determines range: rider weight, terrain, hills, weather, is it cold, is it hot, all of these different variables. Now, in addition to just the board itself, when you buy it, you're also getting the really cool remote, that one of my favorite remotes on the market, because it has the turbo feature in addition to the other speed modes. And what I really like about the turbo mode is that you can go into the highest mode with one click, and then when you want to go back into the normal mode, you can do so with one quick click as well. That's different from a lot of other board company remote setups, because if you go to the top speed on their remotes, you got to then click all the way back to mode 1, 2, 3 to get back to 3, or whatever the case may be. I really like this setup of this particular remote. I also like the way it feels in my hand with like the little hole where you can stick your pinky finger or whatnot. Really good remote. And of course it has a display on there to see different information. Speed mode, speed you're riding, what mode you're riding in, things like that. So really good stuff. One of the other cool things that I really like about it is the fact that you can pair it to Backfire's app, which is really cool, especially considering the price point of this board, $400. Like, you can't beat that, right? So in addition to just the board, we get a cool accessory, which is the backpack. And this is really cool because you're getting a backpack and a board for 400 bucks, everything that you need to go out and ride and get your roll on. And this is cool to me because a lot of other brands sell, if you go online and you try to buy like an electric skateboard backpack, you're gonna find them anywhere from $200 to $300. Now, is this backpack of the same quality of those? Maybe not. Does it have some of the pockets of the other ones? Maybe not. But I think that this backpack that comes with this board is incredibly functional because I think that this board's primary use function is as a last mile commuter. And what do you mean when I say that? What I mean is how light the board is, the fact that it comes with this backpack. It is the perfect board to have if, let's say, you ride public transportation, you're a college student, or you're just riding a class or something like that, and you ride public transportation and then you only have a couple of miles to get home, 3, 4, 5, 6 miles, something like that. Amazing. It's a great board just to chill out on the weekends, maybe run to the grocery store real quick. Those short, quick trips because you don't feel like carrying a heavy board around. I often go to the movies with my family all the time, and there's this movie theater on the Atlanta beltline, and we ride our boards to the movies. And sometimes if I grab one of my 4x4 boards or the heavier boards, it's kind of a pain to ride that to the movie theaters because it's big, it's bulky, it's heavy. That's not something that you have to worry about with this particular board. And then finally, because of the weight, because of how easy it is to maneuver, I think this makes a great board for children, youth, young adults, teens, and like I said, even adults, because it's not super heavy. When my son first started riding when he was like 6 years old, 7 years old, or whatever age he was, around that age, it was hard for him to carry some boards because they were too heavy. But with this particular board, you don't have to necessarily worry about that because it is light and it gets the job done. Now, let's take a moment to talk about some of the maybe negatives. For the price point, there's really no negatives to really discuss here. If I just had to nitpick and just choose something, I feel like the charger is a little small. I don't remember the exact size of it. I'll put it up here, but I feel like it's like a 2 amp charger, something pretty small. I would have loved to have just seen it be, maybe a 2.5 amp like we typically see, because then that would mean I could charge this board that's only 180 watt hours like super quick. Would make it great to like ride to the store real quick, get some coffee, charge it up for a minute, read a book or something, and get right back on the road. But that's really my only nitpick. And that's going to take me into my final thoughts. To me, when you buy this board, you're getting more than just a board. Probably the most important thing is you're getting Backfire's reputation. And Backfire has a reputation of being probably one of the best mass-produced board companies that has the best customer service. They don't leave people hanging. And I'm not just saying that as a person who reviews boards. I've known people who purchase this board, their hard-earned money, that have had a challenge with their board, and Backfire is quick to respond. I've known people to ride their boards in the rain, mess up their battery, and Backfire can say, hey, that's on you, shawty. You rode that board in the rain, but Backfire says, hey, I got it. Buy a battery half off on us. Because they just do cool stuff like that for the consumer. So that's definitely something that I think people should consider. The speed is pretty good. The torque is pretty good for a board in this price point. Really solid stuff. The cool accessories that you get, the backpack, I like that as well. The overall aesthetics of the board looks amazing. In my opinion, this board is a no-brainer for people that are on a budget, or for individuals who are looking for that perfect holiday gift for their teen or even their child, to get them a PEV to get out to the community. If you want to learn more about this board or support this channel with your purchase, check out my Backfire links below. And don't forget to make a donation to my Indiegogo campaign so that we can push this documentary forward with the Electric Pioneers. As always, I will see you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. Peace.